I'm so glad the episode came up now. Holy shit. Going till 1 would have been fucking brutal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Clone Wars retrospective. No, I don't know what it is. You know what it is? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it is the finale of the Clone Wars retrospective, the Clone Wars Season 7 review. We do have one more episode, which we'll talk about in a second, but I am the number one Kylo Ren fanboy, Travis Snail.
I am the... Oh man. I am the...
Gotta make it good. It's the last one.
I know. So much pressure. You know, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep it simple. I am the clone trooper, Taylor Field.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how long you've been with us or whatnot, but this has been a long journey. We started this show. Oh man, I can't remember. I have to get the exact date, but it's been over 2 years since we started the Clone Wars retrospective. We went back and reviewed every single episode. They announced us at Comic-Con, and Tay's like, we're doing a retro, or he's like, I want to do a retro, and I was the madman that agreed to it. And then we've done every episode. We've done every episode of season 7, so you can go back and check them all out. And this is the finale. So before we will do a non-spoilers portion, just because this is the finale, we'll do a non-spoilers review, quick thoughts. We'll get into the spoilers if we thought it was a good finale. Was it satisfying? Before we get into that, just head down in the description below. Our video and audio feeds are there if you want to subscribe, rate, review. Please review. I think we're at 175 reviews now, so we're very close to that 200 mark. We got to hit that 200 mark. We've been hitting a lot of milestones. If you help that, we could hit another milestone. So that'd be great. It takes 30 seconds. Leave a written review, not the stars review. They don't count them. I don't know why. It's all about the written reviews. I don't make the rules. So please do that. That would help us out big time. June 1st is going to be the launch of our very own podcast network, the Geek Ultimate Alliance. It's going to be tons of fun. I'm on there. People are going to be guests on there. There's 6 shows, 5 days a week. So that's going to be a good time. There's lots of stuff you can go back. I guess we just did Clone Wars. We just literally recorded an episode the other day. I'll throw it to you in a second when you're going to drop. Dylan's dropping something really cool this week. And next week, Saturday, I always keep saying this, it's May 9th. We just did this. May 9th, right? Is Saturday?
May 9th.
He shaked his head and he's like, May 9th. May 9th is Saturday. What we're doing we're doing a Netflix and fail, a Netflix watch along. So you can join us on YouTube. It's going to be 9 p.m. ish Pacific time. So it might be a little late for some people, so you can check it out in the morning. But if not, please join along, jump in the chat. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to have hopefully some old returns. Jessica's going to hopefully come back. Hopefully Tyler Briggs is going to come back. Hopefully Emily used to be on Netflix and fail, and some other guests, which is going to be fun. We're going to be watching The Trust. That's won the vote. It's about Elijah Wood and Nick Cage robbing a bank. That's the rules of Netflix and fail. None of us can see the movie, and none of us have seen this movie, so we got that going on. Head over. Well, Taylor's going to tell us where to head over, but Taylor, what do you got to pimp? You dropped something this past 24 hours.
Yeah, you made a good point of saying this, how this whole period of Geekverse right now is kind of like the return of like the classics, you know, and I'm really digging that kind of thing, because I just popped out this morning of Sunday. Geeks Creed has just returned with a vengeance with me and Ruben Olsen, so we kind of dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we're gonna try and get another episode out for you guys, all you fans out there. So
like in the near future when the game comes out.
I mean, it depends. Like, we're getting the gameplay next week, so we could maybe do one, or I might just say like, oh, newscast, I'll talk about it with you guys, because you guys are really interested in this one. So
Ruben might be a little busy.
He might be a little busy spinning that Ruddernaut wheel. Who knows? But
the Ruddernaut came back to you a couple of times. It's like kind of what COVID has like turned into, like it's a time machine. What's old is new again. So check that. We got tons of stuff going on. I know at some point this month, me, Liam, and Kyle are gonna be reviewing 2012, so that'll be interesting. Thanks to everyone that tuned into the Day After Tomorrow review. Lots of people hate on us in that review. Lots of people like Day After Tomorrow, and they don't like that we spent an hour and a half like shitting on it. So, but you know what? That's review movies, and that's not a good movie. But you know what was maybe good was Clone Wars. It came to an end finally. We talked about this. This started in 2008? We said the show, right? So it's been a long thing, over a decade. So Taylor, I'm going to start with you because this was your baby and everything like that. What did you feel about the episode? And then what did you also just feel about how this closes out Clone Wars? Do you think this was satisfying? Do you think they nailed it? Did they hit it out of the park? Did they have some misses? Are you disappointed? What are your thoughts on this? Is the last one ever? And then obviously, I guess at some point we're gonna get some announcement for a new series. I hope soon. So, but what do you think?
Yeah, this episode, it just left me just feeling like I have to say, like, I love the ending. I really,
Mm.
really do. I think it was like the best like surprise and the best way to cap off this show. I think it really, really was. I think it had so much meaning for the characters. I think it had a lot of meaning for Ahsoka and a lot of like symbolism in how the last 40 seconds to a minute, just how it unfolds. I think it was great. I think it was just so symbolic and so intense, and just it sets that trajectory for Ahsoka's journey in Rebels and continuing further and beyond, and it to me, like how they kind of displayed that ending, a lot of it makes sense. I feel like how the events unfolded with certain characters, I feel like, okay, that makes sense why this character would have done this, going to this place to try and find the truth or something like that, and I think like that makes sense, and it was just so well done, and it was a good kind of connection. um the characters again in this, like I think like they did Rex so well in this, and I just again, all the emotion that just stems from him and just the scenario. And obviously, if you've seen the last week's episode, like this dynamic now that you have, like, clones versus Rex kind of, and it's just seeing that kind of unfold in a larger scale in this episode. And I mean, this isn't really much of a spoiler, but like how he's aware, like, okay, like we aren't like killing them, but like they're gonna try to kill us. I know. And Ahsoka obviously isn't like, she has that mentality like from the previous episode where she wasn't killing them, she was just kind of disarming them and knocking them unconscious. She doesn't want to kill them, and it's just that that
How
feeling
Batman
like
should be,
how Batman should be. Yeah, not the Ben Batfleck, but the other Christian Bale one. Um, but it's just creating that dynamic, and you can just see it like tear Rex apart. Just that emotion of him. Just these guys are my brothers, and they don't. What they're doing is not their choice. They don't. They've had their will stripped away, and they're just doing what they were programmed to do. They've turned into droids basically, and it's so crazy. So I felt like there was a lot of things in this movie. One particular scene that was completely ripped out of Rise of Skywalker. I know you know what scene I'm talking about.
I feel like I remember, but now I feel like I felt that when I was watching, but I've forgotten. Yeah, okay, that one, and then there's one right from the Mandalorian too.
Really? Oh, I'm trying to remember. You have to tell me when we go into spoilers.
Yeah. So they like doing that. What's Filoni is very much that George Lucas when he talks about everything's like a circle and it rhymes. It's like poetry. He's very much into that kind of sentiment because these, like I said, these last, especially the last three, and I will talk about those other ones, but they were rhyming with a lot of stories, especially Last Jedi. So you were happy with everything? You weren't disappointed with anything?
I was very, very happy with everything. I
That's good.
thought there's so much that was just going really, really well, and just a lot of moments that just left me on edge. And that ending is just like, if this season never happened, I would have been super okay with season five's ending of Ahsoka walking away from the Jedi Temple and walking away from Anakin, and that being the finale. I could have been fine with that. And I feel like this one was like a weird alternative version of that ending, done in like a different tone and a different light, but I feel like it was equivalent to that ending, and that's why I like it so much, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
yeah, and I'll go into more detail and spoilers with that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Again, it's kind of like I said with this last one. I feel like it's these last four episodes to me are, I won't spoil what or whatnot because we're gonna do, that's what we can announce. We're gonna do a rankings episode. We're gonna do best. We're gonna rank the seasons. We're gonna rank the top 10 characters, top 10. What was I missing? Top 10 episodes. Taylor wants to shit on Dr. Zemo or whoever and do top
Dr.
bottom five.
Vindy.
Dr. Vindy new bottom five. So we might do that. What was I gonna say? But yeah, so these are high. These all four of these episodes are in the top 10. So I can give you that minor spoiler. I really enjoyed it. I think the last half is like phenomenal. I think this is we talked about the score of these last 4 episodes the past a while, but I think this is the best it's ever been. I think there's one action scene where the score is really great, and the music, the very ending, like last 2 minutes, not the credits, before like the last 2 minutes of the show was phenomenal. It was just this like I think I've always said the best Star Wars music I've heard other than John Williams is Mandalorian, but these last four, the season was good, but I think these last 4 episodes were that kind of bar. So that was thrilling. That's like they've always stuck up, but that really stuck out. Some great moments. I think it was a good finale. It was very melancholy. It was very like I know it is, but Order 66, so it should be depressing in some light, but it just felt very, very subtle and very. It's this grand scope things going on, but it's very small at the same time. I think my only con for it being the last episode ever, and it's tough, right? Because I guess there is Rebels, and that's what I am excited because I'm literally at this part where I just met. I mean, I said this last episode where I just got to the part where we met Commander Rex, and it's like with Ahsoka, and he's somehow the chips out of his head. So it literally felt like I was watching a prequel of these episodes, and now I'm watching Rebels. So I kind of my fill. So I know there's Rebels. I know there's all those movies. I think we could have got like a little bit more with some characters, and I'll get in that in spoilers. I just think that this was 23 minutes. I think this was the shortest episode out of them all. Would you agree? Out of the
I
4?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted a tad more. I think it was still a good finale, but there's just something we'll bring up in spoilers that I would have preferred if they went a certain route or just gave me a little more backstory. But other than that, they're again very minor complaints, and yeah, it was a great episode. I think it was. I think it's a very good finale to a show that is. You know what? I've had my problems with it, but I think it does help. Like I said, it's always trying to maybe fix some mistakes, revenge the Sith, but I think overall it does help the lore, and it's provide me some interesting and good characters like Ahsoka. I didn't really care about Ahsoka at all before, obviously because I had the show, but now I do. There's things with Maul they did I really love. So overall, I think it had a good lasting impact, and I hope the biggest lasting impact. And I think that's the biggest thing is because Rebels exists, but it doesn't have like this type of animation and stuff. So that's the thing where it's like I can go to Rebels, but it feels like a step. Even like Rebels, I actually prefer over Clone Wars, but it still doesn't have like this cinematic or this dialogue, in my opinion. There's still times where it feels kiddie, where these did not feel. These felt like Toy Story Pixar level, where it's like it's kid friendly, but it doesn't feel like it's dumbed down. Where both Clone Wars and Rebels sometimes feels like it's dumbed down to be like, oh, this is still like a fun adventure. There's like some fart puta joke in the middle of a battle, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Like I like that in my MCU, but Star Wars, I have to, unless it's Han Solo slinging it, you got to be careful. So, yeah, I think it was a really good finale. Had a few minor complaints, but really, I think this ended on such a high note that I have no complaints. And I wish the whole show was like this. I'm just begging whatever animated show is next that it has this bar of quality. And I don't know what it is. I don't know where we're going, but yeah. Anything else to say before we get into spoilers?
No. One more thing. I guess it definitely had a huge element of Force Unleashed, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So that's
I got that. That's what I thought you were talking about with that certain moment. I got Starkiller vibes.
There were two moments I felt like there were Starkiller vibes. So yeah.
Animated series confirmed, Starkiller. Okay, we're getting in spoilers. So if you haven't seen the finale of Clone Wars, tune out right now. And then here we go. I guess I should read the synopsis. This is the last time of doing it, right? So
get it right.
It wouldn't be right. I got it right last week for the first time, but yeah, I'm gonna try. Now I have all this pressure, but let's see here. Clone Wars. I bet you it's top rated on IMDb already. Yeah, it is. It's a 10 out of 10 by the fans that have already voted. Look at that. Yeah. But only 183 on IMDb. So, okay, here we go. This episode was titled Victory and Death. Ahsoka and Rex must use their wit and skills to survive the turbulent end of the Clone Wars.
Oh, there you go.
Boom!
Good closeout.
Look at that. Yeah. So, and I think that puts it right there so you had the first episode of this arc was really the Siege of Mandalore. It was like the reintroduction of Maul, right? And then like Maul and like that storyline Mandalore. The second was the Maul via Ahsoka. The third one was setting up Order 66 and what's about to go down. And this was really, it was about the ending of the Clone Wars. And obviously the ending is, there's a big time jump, so it really hits that. But it did feel like that, and I think that's the biggest thing. Well, I'll start, and I think honestly, I'm probably going to talk about the ending first because that's the stuff that really stuck with me. So the Mandalorian thing I was saying is when Ahsoka's standing in front of all those helmets with a stick on them, and remember when Mando goes back to Tatooine, all the stormtrooper helmets are there with all the sticks on them. So that was very reminiscent. And again, we talk about this rhyming. You see, like the extremes of that's the ending of two wars, right? But in very different ways. Like stormtroopers helmets on there are to show that hey, like we won the war. Like obviously the sequels happen, and we can talk about that another time. But in this timeline, they won the war, and we're showing like hey, we're proud that we're no longer oppressed. Where this is a bunch of fallen comrades kind of try to, in my mind, it was her putting them there to kind of remember them for the good of what
Mhm.
they did, even though at the end of the day, they're going to be just purely remembered for just killing machines, right? They're going to be remembered as traitors and like mindless souls and whatnot. But I loved everything Ahsoka was doing with the not kill them. And yeah, because I'm a Batman fan that is I prefer my Batman to subdue, and if he has to kill somebody, it's like the last resort thing. But if he can take them down, so I appreciate that he was Rex was like, we're gonna have to mow through them, and she's like, I'm not mowing through, and she even used the word kill, which was, and I know they do that, but it was just, it felt so real and visceral in that moment, and raw. Where she's like, I'm not killing these guys. It's like Jesus, like when you put it like that. So I loved everything. I love their combo sex, but I loved the score, the transition of her looking at the helmets, all those bodies and everything like that. That score, I can't wait. Do they put these scores on Apple Music or
I found a
Spotify?
bunch of them on Spotify, but I don't
Okay.
know if it's like official Disney that puts them up. I think people just get the scores and put them up themselves on their
Okay, because yeah, I
playlists.
gotta find it for the ending. Just that solemn, like very downtrodden, depressed. That's why I said like the finale is very melancholy. The first half is pure action, and that's what I love. Like it was pure like we gotta escape. But the next half is just it feels very much like the end of Revenge of the Sith and the stuff that I think works sometimes. It's just depressing. It's just everything bad's happening, nothing good's going on, and then obviously there was the big reveal. We'll talk about how did you feel about the ending there as far as you got, like I said, that Mandalorian and you got Rex and Ahsoka just being kind of well, they got to be off on their own, right? They just watch a bunch of people they were friends with die.
Yeah, I think it's just that the music not having any dialogue. You didn't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
any dialogue at all. Like it felt like Hans Zimmer score for some reason popping in there. Like it
Hmm.
just felt so deep, so real, so powerful. And and yeah, like and then just like Rex walking out of the Venator ship and you just see Ahsoka standing there just looking at what has transpired and like it's just it's just you can feel the weight on their shoulders of
Yeah,
how
yeah.
things are no longer going to be the same, that like they know all the Jedi are gone, they know everything is about to change and that the dark side has just swooped in and that this is just going to be like incredible. And this is again why I feel like it parallels that original ending for season 5 when Ahsoka's standing there and drops her lightsaber. It's just like when she turns down being a Jedi to Anakin, and then obviously transitions to Anakin in that scene. Again, we get Darth Vader, which I was not expecting. I thought, okay, are we on Hoth for a second here?
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on. The second you start, like, I saw snow and I saw because you see the snow stormtroopers, but that's one of my complaints about Revenge of the Sith is literally it's like they all look like the Clone Wars, and then the next day it's like they look like the original trilogy, like they're wearing all the Imperial uniforms, they got the stormtroopers. It's like really overnight you just switched everything. So that's why I thought, oh, it's just the situation again where okay, it is just very close to that, but well, again, like we don't know the exact time, but it's at least been a few weeks because he's on his feet, he's walking around
Well,
and
they
everything.
that's why they have the change of the season there, I think, to showcase that okay, a
Yeah.
long time has passed, and even like yeah, you can see the damage on like the clones' helmets and stuff.
Yeah. Even though I thought it was weird, why did they was he just having like a vision or something when he had that lightsaber and then he looked up and he sees like a ship fly away? Because
No,
it's
that bird, you'll learn this more in Rebels. That
okay.
creature flying is heavily associated with Ahsoka. Wherever Ahsoka is, that flying thing is usually always with her.
But wasn't she there like years or like even months ago? So why would
She
that
she was like it just kind of always pops up in places that are all like either with Ahsoka or relevant to Ahsoka.
okay,
It's a
okay.
very interesting thing, but as you get through Rebels, you'll notice it's kind of all over the place.
And she was rocking because I know events in Rebels because I didn't watch it, but I'm watching it now for the first time. She's rocking that like Rebels look where she has like the big gray
Yeah.
garb over her and everything like that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought that was really powerful. And yeah, I had a feeling we were gonna get Vader just because Clone Wars is in a tricky spot, right? Because it's a prequel show, but at the same time, you can't just, even though I actually would have loved if they just did Revenge of the whole movie through animation, but they're not going to do that, right? They're going to leave that. So it's tricky where it's like, you want to do an ending to your show, but the ending of your show is the movies, right? So you can't recreate the movies exactly. They did that with moments, but you can't just go, oh, we're gonna make the most of our battle. So it is weird for a show like if you don't watch any of those movies, it is weird in the show that you don't get an ending for Obi-Wan, you don't get an ending for Anakin, and blah blah. So that's where I thought Vader, I had a feeling we were going to get just because they've done the past few episodes so much set of talking about Anakin. We heard the scream, we heard the, what have I done? All these things. So it's like, okay, I feel like we are going to get him. Those are maybe some of my complaints of like, I wish we got something, just anything with Obi-Wan in this episode, because I feel like, okay, Ahsoka is a massive character and she became one of the main characters, but I don't think she was the main character. She was of this arc, but I think if you're thinking about the finale of the entire show, I think something with Obi-Wan, even just showing him settling down on Tatooine, something like that would have been just a quick snippet. Because if you, again, I'm just talking about a very parallel universe, but let's just say if someone watched the show without any of the movies, this finale without those movies, you'd be like, well, what the hell happened to these characters? So that's where I wish there was some little, even showing Yoda go to, like, we never saw, all we saw from Yoda was Revenge of Sith. He talks to Obi-Wan, and then the next time we see him is on Dagobah, right? Same thing, show him landing on Dagobah. Like, I think they could have done a few more little, like, these are where our main characters have all ended up? And even then just confirming the death of Mace Windu, something like that, which is fine. You kind of did that with the Shriek, but there's those two. And then the other one is, and maybe they're doing this because they want to leave it a mystery. I was very disappointed that the last time we saw them all was just him flying away. I thought we'd at least get him landing somewhere, meeting with someone, just setting up that, okay, even if it's setting up more so like he's on the path of Crimson Dawn, maybe that's just it. Maybe I'm just wanting too much. But so those were that, honestly, they're minor complaints, but I just wanted a few more scenes of these other Star Wars characters where I thought it was a big moment, really hit with Ahsoka, really hit with the clones. You got Anakin in there as Vader, and it was only 23 minutes. So I was just surprised we didn't get any more Maul, because Maul's not really in this episode. He gets a badass scene, he escapes, and that's about it. So I thought there was going to be a bit more back and forth. So we didn't get much Maul. We didn't get a closing on Obi-Wan or Yoda. So that's some of my minor complaints. How did you feel? Are you like, because maybe not the other ones, but with Maul, I thought we'd at least get a little bit more there.
I would have thought we got maybe a little bit more Maul, but for me personally, like, I think, did I need anything Obi-Wan related? No. I need Yoda? No. I don't think I need any other Jedi. I feel like this story arc was so heavily focused on Ahsoka, and I feel like after the last episode, I felt like, okay, it should just close up with Ahsoka's story, and I'm totally okay with that. Seeing Vader, like, it caught me off guard, and I have to say, like, his animation, his look was absolutely incredible. He looks
it was good, yeah.
so good, and like, I like his Rebels look, but in this, he was so good. And like, my favorite thing is, as he was walking, like, I feel like growing up with the Clone Wars and just growing up with Anakin in this show, looking at him walk, I felt like, okay, like, you can see Anakin walking in this suit throughout this whole scene. It just felt like Anakin, and it didn't feel like like what, like, for example, like reading the Thrawn books, like Thrawn Alliances, like, you get to experience Thrawn's point of view and Vader's point of view, and you get to experience young Anakin's point of view as well, and you get to see, okay, Vader at this point in time was still very like roughed up and shaken. He wasn't like a full-on completely indulged into the dark side. He had a lot of doubt and a lot of what if scenarios rolling in his head. And I felt like, okay, that was really resonating in this moment. He picked up the saber and he was just looking at it. And again, one of my favorite scenes in Return of the Jedi is when he turns on Luke's green saber and he's holding it. I love that. And again, when he turns this on and he holds it down by his side and he's standing there, that's got to be a wallpaper somewhere. Vader holding this blue lightsaber. It just looks so
we could make
good.
it the thumbnail.
Oh yeah, we wanted to.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, and this is, so here's another thing. This is just backing up my complaints for last week. Or last episode. Again, Maul, I don't get why we didn't, and maybe that's why we didn't get him with the blue lightsaber, because they want to save it for Vader. But I was like, okay, maybe they just don't want to make Ahsoka lose him. But she leaves her lightsaber, so they could easily have let Maul take one of those sabers and use it for a bit. So that when I saw that, when she just dropped it, I'm like, oh, that pissed me off right there, because like, she's not keeping those lightsabers. So what I wanted to ask is, why do you think she dropped it? Because you talked to me about this last week, and it was like about, okay, her finding out that Anakin might be Vader, which I think I hit, or I think I'm really close to in Rebels. But either way, it, to me, the way I'd have to wait till I get to the Rebels portion, or at least confirm, because like I said, I think she's in Rebels right now where I am. I think they're on the pursuit of Vader or they're running. I think she has like an intuition. It might be Anakin. Like it's something like she's sensed this person before. I think that's all where it is in Rebels right now. But the thing is, to me in this finale, it proposes or puts forward that she feels that Darth Maul was maybe right about Anakin turning bad side, because I don't know why she dropped that lightsaber. Other than I get it, like maybe you can make the case of like, oh, the Jedi are gone, so I'm dropping this lightsaber. But later on, when we see her, she has lightsabers, and just even from a practical point of view, like you need to have protection, right? You can't just
You
like,
do, but in this point of like change, like if you have a lightsaber, you're classified as a Jedi. And when you know, like, okay, the world has completely changed, this new government is forming, and if the clones catch you with a lightsaber, they'll shoot you on sight. I think you can hide your force abilities. I think the best thing that you can do for yourself is hide your Jedi weapons.
all
And
right,
just if you leave them there, it looks like that a Jedi died with the crash as well.
okay,
So
I guess I can buy that. I just think that, Cal had his lightsaber in Battlefront,
yeah, in Fallen Order.
or Fallen Order. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
he did, and but he wasn't on the same wavelength as Ahsoka. He was just
Oh,
a young little kid, and he just took his master saber. I don't really remember where he hid it. I don't know, just but
you don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Yeah, but I think that it's very, again, it's symbolic, and I think that it's just a sign of like, things are changing, and I can't be carrying this around anymore until I get my feet settled. Then I'll go kill some Inquisitors and snag their crystals and heal them. So
Jesus. Yeah, what else did you want to show in this episode? Because we talked a lot about the ending. Yeah, we talked about Vader. That was very well done. I agree with you with the animation. I think just because, in my opinion, it's like, I don't know, I think he was looking good because not a shot at Rebels or Clone Wars, just the fact that everybody's looked better in these episodes
yeah.
and whatnot. So what else did you want to talk about for this finale?
Um, there was one thing. I guess, yeah, the Force Unleashed moments. So like
Mhm.
when Maul was inside that the cruiser and he was destroying the hyperdrive systems, like, okay, this is full on Force Unleashed. And the clones run out and he smashes it down. Like, oh, this is so cool. We didn't really get any dialogue from him, and that's okay. I love the whole sequence of events with him. The other Force Unleashed scene that I really liked was when Ahsoka was flying through the debris trying to get to the ship. I thought this feels just like out of Force Unleashed 2,
Okay, I
when
can see that.
Star
Yeah.
Killer was like flying and that freaking the giant beast was below him or whatever, and then the ship comes in, like, so good. So I love those two scenes. Another thing, I'm kind of jumping over the board here, but I'm so sad about just with Jesse and that whole scene of events where Rex comes out, and I like what he was trying to play, and Jesse was like, the clones were kind of like conflicted for a brief second, like, she's
Yeah.
not a Jedi anymore. It's like, well, you make a point, but like,
The
your
loophole didn't work.
orders, yeah, the
Yeah.
loophole didn't work. So, but
It was a
I
valiant
like,
effort, but
yeah, I like what they were trying to pull off there. So that was good. And
yeah.
but just Jesse like reaffirming, like, you're Rex, you're gonna be demoted and executed. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
That was my favorite thing, because at first, and it's not a con, I just thought that he said you're gonna be demoted and executed. Just say you're gonna be executed. There's no point in being like, okay, we're bringing you in to kill you, and then like, by the way, you're not a general anymore. All right, kill Rex. Now it's just like, at once you say you're gonna be executed. He did say demoted first, but it's like you were kind of bearing the lead that you're gonna lose your rank, you're gonna lose your weapon, your helmets, you're gonna demote you, and then we're gonna execute you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, don't mention the other stuff. Just get to the execution part. Because at first, when he was just saying, "I'm gonna demote you," I'm like, oh, really? They would not. Like, that doesn't seem like the Empire I know. And then he's like, and then we'll kill you. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's exactly the people I know. No, I loved that back and forth. I loved, like, it felt like a very little like Han Solo moment of Han Solo like trying to like, oh, Conja Club. What about Conja Club? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. I'm trying to talk at him, like, which time? Like, that's what I loved, was he just trying to find a way to get out of there, because he doesn't, like, when Ahsoka talked to him, I love that, like, he doesn't want to kill these people. He chose that killing was he put forward like, oh, we need to kill these people, because he thought that was the only way out, where she broke it down like, you can do that, but I'm not gonna. So, he didn't want to kill these people. So if he could have took option one of just like getting past him and sneaking out, that would have been great. Obviously didn't happen, but yeah, I loved that back and forth, and I loved, I mentioned sorry, but I loved all their like combo team up moves in this one. She was like deflecting his like stun blast and everything like that. I love that moment. Again, she had like another cool spinning moment where she just took the lightsabers, but this was so badass, and I wish I want more stuff like this in the future. She slams the lightsaber down and uses the force to push them around like in a circle and cut through the hole. That was fantastic. And then just a good comedic beat, and that felt very Star Wars, that they land, they escape, and then they just look over. There's just like hundreds of other clone troopers right there. It's like, oh well, that didn't really do anything. So that was my only thing too. Like she pulled like a, and this is where some people could take a shot. And I agree with like the Dark Knight and Bale. There's some scenes where you go, oh, did he maybe kill some people? She says she doesn't want to kill them, but then she also just like hacks those levers and makes them fall. She doesn't know how far that's gonna go. Like they could easily fall and break their necks and fall somewhere. So I just love that we're not gonna kill them. But then she's just like taking all these and they're falling everywhere. But I loved all the action in this. It was really well done. And her and her, yeah, I agree. The Force Unleashed moment. Maul had some more like cool Vader hallway scenes. Like I said, the my majority of the beginning was all action, but that was all really done well. You had Maul and her have like another interaction. Again, that's why my minors, that's why they won't take any points off a score, because I still think there might be more Maul and Ahsoka stuff in the future. But again, I just want a little bit more, because we just only got that little bit in the battle. I love that he's running away and he's like, you wanted this chaos, and she's just gunning for him. She's after him. But I love like almost reminiscent of how she beat him, or like there was a standstill, but either at one point she like force pushed him and then she caught him. It was very similar of him force pushing her and he didn't catch her, but she caught herself. So kind of flipping the situation of like using the force, one's to save and one's to kill, and it kind of just shows like the dichotomy of those two characters. So I love him. Then Maul, he got out of there, you know.
Yeah, that Force episode 9 scene that I was kind of thinking it was like when she was
Chewie!
like holding the ship or whatever. Yeah, Chewie.
But you didn't see the second unit, blah blah blah.
Yeah, Dylan's favorite part.
Yeah.
I really liked that other scene when the clones were shooting and Maul just like used the helmet and blocked 3 shots and then force pushed it at the clone. It was so cool. Very creative, all the force moves used.
When he took out the hyperdrive, that was badass, because you could see it slowly took in, and it just shows how much power he really did have. And that's why I do, like I said, I'm not a prequel guy. I don't want to be in the Dark Times, but even if they do announce that the next series is Ahsoka and it's about the in-between of Rebels and this, and it is about her versus Crimson Dawn, do I think that's happening? No, I actually don't. But even if it's a comic, I do want more, because like I said, I'll stand on that boat. I love the animation. I love what they're doing, but I'll stand on the boat all the time. I think it was a gigantic mistake to kill Maul in Clone War or in Rebels, just because I feel like he still has a big enough fan base. Again, I feel like they did it poorly in Solo to be like, oh, he's still alive and people not knowing. But I feel like people still think he's cool and badass enough. And seeing, I love animation, but if we could have got that moment like in live action too, because I guess that's the Maul I want, is I want Maul that has a bit more emotion and character. But maybe that's the reason they don't want to do it, because they have that combo of like it's a face actor, but it's also voice actor. So maybe they feel it's tricky to pull off in live action. So maybe that's why they're like, we're not really going to do that. So do his emotional stuff in animation. So it's still good, but I loved everything they did with Maul in this episode. He had like such a good ending as far as like his last few like episodes to really shine and whatnot. And we got that double bladed lightsaber back a few episodes ago. So
I want to shout out the droids. You know, the past 2 episodes, they were doing such a good job. And this episode, like they really went like all out. Like the one guy, I can't remember their names, but he alerted Ahsoka to Maul sprinting for the ship, and like they were on point. Like they dropped the platforms down, and then when they were like Ahsoka and Rex were down there, they popped the platforms back up, and then the clones just walk up and just say like blast droids or whatever, and they just gun them down. Like the Ahsoka would not have got out there without the droids. So I'm shouting out the 3 astromech droids. They did such a good job. I really rooting for them. Like,
yeah, no, that scene was brutal when they just killed them. I was like, oh my god. And then it just showed again like how like now like emotionless these clones are, you know, like they literally are just droids now, better droids that still can't hit later on. But yeah, that scene, that tour, I couldn't believe that, because it's like, oh, we're out of the business. Like they don't actually have to kill those droids, they really don't. Like you just let them go. But the fact that they just execute them was like, oh my god, this is brutal. So
I like too when again the dialogue scene between Rex and Jesse, when Jesse was like, you know, our orders came from Darth Sidious. Like it was just chills when him saying that, you know, and it just again blows my mind that Sidious, like Sheev, would just transfer over his clone army for humans that have like lesser like skills and all that stuff. It just seems like a mistake. If he kept the clone army, he would have ruled for forever. Like,
Is there a
honestly.
canon reason why he didn't though?
I think it was just like financially, and just it was easier to, I think it was just financially. I think it was easier just to open up the recruitment for just like regular citizens to just be more loyal into what's going on. And yeah, I guess like with clones, like they die off really quick, right? They have shorter lifespans, so why not just go long term? But yeah.
You got anything else to show? Because I think I had all my notes. Talk about Maul, talk about Ahsoka, ending, score. We got Vader in there. Yeah, I think I've hit on all the major points I have.
Just trying to think. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else. Just it was just a very special episode. I loved how that when they got down to that lower hangar and just like Rex. I love when Ahsoka force pushed Rex towards the Y-wing and he managed to like get inside the bomber, and then Ahsoka was just like struggling, and you can just see like she's getting shot in the arm, and you just see all these shots going around her, and it's just absolutely terrifying. Like, oh my god, like they're not going to die, but you just see the struggle that they're going through. And I mean, of course, at this time, that Obi-Wan is probably facing Anakin right now in Mustafar. Like, it's just the incredible dynamic of these characters, and it's just so powerful. I love that they took their time with it when Ahsoka was flying through the air and Rex was gliding down, and you see Ahsoka on the right, and Rex goes over and pops the cockpit, and like Ahsoka gets close but then totally misses and blasts off to the side, and then you get this cool scene of her gliding down this broken debris and running and then jumping and then trying to reach for the cockpit. So like, it's just the stuff like that just feels Star Wars, and I hope that they resonate and reuse this kind of aesthetic in future projects.
Yeah, I hope they do too. I just always wonder if like was this more expensive than usual? Like did this like obviously if it took longer, they could have been like, okay, well, it's gonna be your last episode, so or it's like your last season, so that's fine if it takes longer. But that's always my wonder of like even then I would think it would have to cost more because it's like it's what is it, they did mocap right with the actors and everything, so you would think that no matter what you're paying for extra costs. So that's the thing, like do you think they will do this again? Maybe they would do it again for okay the finale is gonna be like this, but I would hate another animated show to be like okay, let's say it's a 12 season show and it's like okay the last 4 episodes are this high animation and then the other ones are like still good animation but not this tier. I'd either want them to go full out and spend the budget and take as long as they want, or just do something the same. I want them to spend the budget, but do you think they will in the future?
I would like to think that they would. I think that this show goes to be evidence that their hard work and their money was well invested. This show, this last arc for crying out loud has just decimated the past arcs, and terms of probably views and definitely likes too, because people are loving it. And I think that goes to show that it pays off. You invest that amount of money into a product, you're going to get a return, and that's what they've done. So I hope that they carry on this animation into other projects and everything. I think that it's just it sets the tone for, and like kind of like a standard for how future animated projects should be. And it's it's so well done. Everything that they did in this arc was just absolutely fantastic, and is definitely up there for me with the Umbara arc. This is probably my favorite arc now of all time. And the Umbaran arc was definitely my favorite, but this is now like number one, and then the Umbaran arc right after that. So
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about it. I think I'm still like it's still number one for me, but I'd have to probably go with the Duchess and Obi-Wan and Maul and everything like that for the second one that was up there. So the only thing I was gonna ask too, because I was waiting and it never clicked with me, so maybe it's people can take my Star Wars card fan, but what planet was that they were on when the ship opened and Ahsoka like they started to break open, and that's the planet that Vader's on? Do we know what that planet is?
Originally, I thought it was the planet that Rex was on in Rebels with Wolf and Gregor, but after seeing it like snowing, Gregor, you knew he was back, right? Or did I spoil that for you?
No, I knew he was back. It's just his name.
Yeah. Now that it's snowed on the planet, I have no idea what planet it is. I'll have to look. Maybe it's Starkiller Base or something.
Well, I just wasn't sure. Well, because that's that Jedi planet too, remember, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if it was, I was like, is this Tatooine? Because when it opened up, it was like desert. And then when it got closer, it's like, okay, it looks a little lighter. But no, I just was wondering if it was somewhere. I'll have to watch like Star Wars Theory or something to see where that is. Because I was wondering if it was some planet I was supposed to know. Because when it opened, the music like hit very dramatic, like, "Dah!" And I was like, oh, is this somewhere that I'm supposed to know? Because I don't. Because I was like, oh, maybe it's Jeddah, but I obviously never got answered. So I'm looking forward to hear what that was, because it was it has different terrain. It was a desert planet, but it also snowed there. So I will give this episode 2 thumbs up. Like I said, we'll do rankings next week, but a minor spoiler that these are in the top 4. These last 4 episodes have all been, to me, great, at least great to outstanding, which is a really high bar. And some of the reasons why they're just in the top 4 is just because the quality of them and how well they were made. So I'm on Taylor's bandwagon. I'm hoping that they see the reaction to all these, especially look at something like myself, where there's some episodes that I do love of the Clone Wars, but overall I think it would go like peaks and valleys. Where this, like, I loved all 4 of these, and if all these type of like, I know like not every season could have like episodes where it's like banger after banger, but I just even mean, like I said, the dialogue was better. The way, just even stuff like when I watched Ahsoka, she was running this episode, just the way they were shooting it and whatnot. And Filoni, I always give him flack, because that episode he did for Mandalorian was not a good episode, but he did say some of the stuff that he did this season is because he learned from filming live action. And I think that does show, and that shows like you can get better. I'm hoping he gets better live action, but also just if that enhances animation style, that's great. So that's what I'm hoping. Just like I said, even if it's like little episodes, just, oh, they're fighting some gangsters, just the cinematography and the animation and everything like that was fantastic. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. Taylor, bring us home on your last rating for a Clone Wars episode.
My last rating. This is so saddening. Yeah, it's easy 2 thumbs up for me. Bam Bam. This was just absolutely awesome. This episode was just this episode was just absolutely legendary, and just everything that has just unfolded. Like, Order 66 is always such a hard thing to go through. It's just such a pivotal moment in Star Wars for me. And like, I love what Kylo, I love what Rey do in the Star Wars movies, but you don't get like that kind of action in the new trilogy of the
you
Jedi.
Get action, all right.
Oh yeah, you do. But,
yeah,
but that's the kind of stuff where like you're jumping like down a broken down starship that's flying down. I mean, in the new trilogy,
you got that in Rise of Skywalker when they're riding the fucking horses, the space horses.
Oh no!
Oh,
That was no Jedi doing that. It was all the Resistance. I'm talking about Ahsoka flying down with a crash Venator, running along it, stuff, trying to jump into the ship.
And then you got Rose saving Finn in Last Jedi, like, oh, we fight for what we love, and she kisses him.
Oh yeah, perfect. I would. There's one thing I could wish we got to see more in the new trilogy would be that. Like, I get like they love that dramatic scene of him jumping through the water and her jumping backflips in the water and then like stopping with the lightsabers with the Force. That was cool. But I always, like, for me, I always put Battle of Mustafar way at the top. That battle was just so good. I love their swing. I love their play, all that foreplay and everything. And then you got Duel of Fates. Just that was another great battle.
There's no thumbs up. There's no thumbs down. Wow.
No, I can give a clapping applause.
No clap. Battle Mustafar. Not maybe in my top 5, but like 5. No way.
What's your number 1?
Luke and Vader Return the Jedi.
Over Empire, really?
The score, you got Emperor like cackling in the background.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, but it's the seeing like the master take down his father, but that score and just that moment, like, it's so much character work, but that moment where Luke is just wailing on Vader and he cuts off his hand, and like, yeah, he, like, the way it's just like the sound editing, the music, he's just like, it's literally, you're seeing Luke Skywalker turn the dark side in that moment, and then he pulls back, but it's his look, it's everything. But I think it's the score, and just even that moment when he's like, sister, and Luke just goes, no, like, it's because Empire, I like it, but I think without the big moment, it's still a fun fight. It is fun because you're seeing this guy just trying to hold his own and he's barely surviving. So that to me is number 3. We're gonna do these rankings one day, but like my top 3 is like that one, and then I usually put Phantom Menace 2, Obi Jedi or Obi Jedi, Obi Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. Just because that to me that's my problem. I always got in an argument with super civil servants, which check out Ultimate or Geek Ultimate Alliance. We'll be talking about this stuff in the future. But for me, the Battle of Mustafar, it's too dancey, it's too choreographed. Like I said, I hate that moment at one point where they stand back and both Obi-Wan and Anakin are like,
oh, so good.
Oh, it's lame and cheesy. Like I've said before, it looks like they're fighting off a bee head nest that went somewhere. It takes me out of it because it looks too much like, okay, you stand there, you do that. Where Phantom Menace to me hit that right of, oh, these are Jedis in their prime, and it looks like a little bit of dancing, but not too much. And then I don't know, like, yeah, I don't even know if Battle of Mustafar is in the top 5, to be honest. Plus, I always say, hey, Hayden Christensen's acting is on that. Like, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil, or no, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Then you're lost. It's like everything is just like, you underestimate my power. And like, I know even Dylan says like, oh, the memes make it so good. They do, but when you go back and watch this movie, Hayden in there it's not good. But yeah, because I think after that, like I'd probably put both those Kylo and Rey scenes, they'd probably be 4 and 5. They'd probably be up there because I'd add Finn there. I love the Force Awakens fight scene. I would say the Force Awakens fight scene is my favorite setting. That snow and like the trees with the snow, like when they're cutting stuff and you see like snow falling down them, and just the shots of Kylo Ren with the red lightsaber, and just like getting blizzard around. I want another, like I want us to return to Hoth so we can have like a mega like lightsaber fight on there. Like,
so you'd have that over Palpatine and Yoda's fight?
Yeah, because I don't, again, Ian McDermott's acting in that takes me out of that because he's just like, when he turns into the Emperor, I actually don't like him as the Emperor in Revenge of the Sith. I like him as Palpatine. I like him near the end, but he's doing too much of like, and like his facial, like it's, and well,
he doesn't have like, I don't know, when he's versing Mace Windu, he's got a lot of like, but when he's facing Yoda, all he's doing is laughing the whole time.
No, but then there's that moment at one point where like Yoda throws a boof at him. He's like, oh, he gets hit. Like I think the reason though, I actually like that fight, but I think the reason it's down because I think it ends super anticlimactic with Yoda just like going away and he goes down the shaft. I just think Palpatine's like, go find my little green friend. But it's just like, I feel like my Palpatine would be like we gotta find this fucking guy. Like you never know. So that's my only thing is I think the ending of the fight ends terribly. That's where I'd put Battle Mustafar over that because I think the ending is great with the don't try and everything like that. And even with Battle Mustafar when they're both on the little robots, like just the coincidence of this going here, it's like this is so outlandish. This makes so it's like Roadrunner versus like the Wild Coyote at that point. It's just like this is too over the top.
That's where you lose it, and not the fact that they're Jedi that can make things move with their minds. It's them standing on these little droids.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like they're like coordinated and they're fighting at the same time. It's just like it doesn't make any sense when you actually break it down, you know. It's just like, the score though is phenomenal. I'll give it that. That might have the best score is still probably no, I lie. It's still it's still the Return of the Jedi. I love the Duel of the Fates, but I just love how haunting that Return of the Jedi score is. It's just like, it's just so good. But we'll have to do that on our rankings episode because now we're talking about random stuff. So
we're going to the cantina conversations.
Pretty much. So Taylor, one last time, where can they find us?
Ladies and gentlemen, with your internet connection, the search bar, Geekverse Space Podcast, Facebook, Geekverse Podcast, geekverse.ca, Twitter, Geekverse Cast, all over those places on the web, Patreon.
Yeah, and if you've tuned into any of these episodes, we thank you. The journey's not over yet. We're going to do a rankings episode next week, or probably in a couple weeks, because people are going to watch the episode. So I need time to think, because my top 10 characters is hard, because my top 10 Clone Wars characters would be different than my top 10 Star Wars characters. So I'm going to need some time to make those lists, but we're going to make those. The next 2 weeks, we expect that. And yeah, thank you for tuning into all those reviews. If you like what we did, check out Cantina, because we have lots of topics that we've wanted to do, but we've had to record this every week. So it's always been a time crunch of tough to like record this and then also Clone Wars, or record this and also Cantina. So we'll get back to that. The new network's gonna have a Star Wars show, so hopefully me and Taylor will guest on that sometimes and whatnot. And I'm very excited because I think it's all. I know we're still far away, but I'm getting more hyped for those High Republic books. I really want those to be good. I'm doing the audio book, so I'm not sure if we'll do a review. I think the plan is for us to do a review, but I'm getting really hyped for those. I really hope that. I hope those are good, man. Because I really after this, I'm very. I'm excited to watch Rebels, and I'm very much like I want to I want to know what this next animated series is. You know, I want an announcement. I probably will probably get that. We would have got that Star Wars Celebration, but who knows? So whatever the news is, we'll be covering it. So thank you as always for tuning into this. May the force be with you.
Always, and happy May the 4th.